everyone, this is Rebecca Jane from Yoga with Rebecca Jane. Welcome to our class where we're going to be focusing on the crow arm balance. And what we'll be doing is I'll be taking you through different postures which will help you to understand what the crow feels like on a physical level, the shape of the crow, and we will then towards the end actually do the crow. It's an arm balance if you haven't done it before, and it requires, it's not as much arms. You think of arms that the arms have to be really strong, but it's definitely a lot of abs, core work that is necessary, but also upper back strength. That's the beauty of this, because while you're preparing for it, you're strengthening different parts of your body, you're getting in that stage so you can actually do the crow. But most of us don't immediately, we can't balance in the crow. Especially if you're starting out. If you're just starting out, it's the idea of the journey rather than the destination. So in other words, it's all the preparation that's more important than actually the pose itself. But it's, when you do get it, it feels really good, but even just getting close to getting it, it feels great. So it's a wonderful thing. I'm going to take you through some what we call, what are called Anna Forrest abs. I've been doing this for quite a while now, teaching how to, these are one of the best ways to strengthen your core. These types of abs are slightly different from the any kind of traditional types of abdominal work. And I'll take you through that, and then we'll go into our practice. We will start with sitting for a moment, sitting up nice and tall, taking a few moments to settle in, connecting with the breath, feeling into that, the core itself by lifting up tall, connecting with those muscles, not just around the belly, but above and below. The core is much longer, much bigger than we expect. It's actually, they start at the collarbones and they stop around the mid-thigh. And then, of course, not just the front of the body, but all the way around and circling the body. That's the actual core. The center of it are the abdominal muscles. So that's where we are going to concentrate on later, but I'll explain that to you in a moment. So closing your eyes if that's available to you, and just begin to take a few deep breaths in and take a few breaths out. Let everything go. Let all your concerns and worries just dissipate, disperse. Every time you exhale, imagine that anything you might be carrying with you that's creating worry or concern, let it just go. Just for the time being, knowing that at any point after the practice, you can always pick it back up if you need to. And you might find you don't even need to. It was just a wasted amount of energy placed on something that you had no control over. Or it might be something you all of a sudden can control. You feel like, I can actually do something about it. So let's take another deep breath in. Start to move into that Ujjayi breath. And let's gently open our eyes for a moment. We're going to start in a child's pose and then come onto our backs. And in the child's pose, come down with your knees slightly wider than your hips, big toes touching. And make a little pillow with your arms. And the reason why I have you in this shape with the pillow is that this is the shape that we will be moving into with our crow. Forehead resting on the arms, taking your breath in and taking your breath out. Where your knees are and your feet touching are about the same shape when we're in our arm balance. embedding that memory into your body of that shape. So taking an inhale, and as you exhale, let's walk our hands back to our knees, spin around onto our bottoms, and lower ourselves onto our backs. As you're on your back, let's settle down, stretch through the arms. Now we're going to be moving on in just a moment into the Forrest abdominals. Once you stretch, let your knees come into your chest. Hug your knees a little bit of a rock from side to side. And then place your feet flat on the ground. You could actually use a block if you happen to have one. I would suggest maybe to add a little extra. Place it between the legs. That's only for a portion of these abdominals. If you don't have a block, you don't need it. It's just there to enhance the abdominals. Keep your feet on the ground. For the first two exercises, we'll keep our feet on the ground, hands behind your head, elbows angling in towards each other. So Forrest is a famous yogi. Inhaling, lift your elbows up towards to the sky. So lift your head and shoulders off the ground with the inhalation. As you hold the breath, lift your tailbone. Your elbows are angled in towards each other. And squeeze the block or squeeze the legs towards one another. And then exhale, elbows reach towards the ceiling. What you're doing is you're working your deep abdominal muscles, the transverse abdominis. And then inhale, lower the tailbone down, but just keep the upper back on the ground. Elbows angle in the whole time, as if you're trying to squeeze them towards one another. Holding the breath, lift your tailbone up. As you squeeze the legs and exhaling, elbows lift towards the ceiling. Keep your gaze towards your abdominals. And then lower yourself down as you inhale, just to the tailbone and to the upper part of your shoulders. Now you can stay here. This might be enough for most of us. Otherwise, come into the 90-degree angle with the knees, with the legs, and take a breath in. And lift your tailbone up, holding the breath, and then exhaling, either keep your legs as they are or straighten them into that 45-degree angle. Lift your elbows towards the ceiling, and then inhaling, rebending those knees and lowering the tailbone down. Your tailbone won't come up that far in this shape. And then holding the breath, lift your tailbone up again, and you could stay here and elbows lift up or straighten those legs into that 45-degree angle. Reach your elbows a little bit higher, not coming up very far. And then inhaling back to neutral. Take a pause. Now you can stay here or even place your feet on the ground or lift your legs up to the ceiling. A little bit harder, this one. A little bit more challenging. Take a breath in. If your head is now on the ground, take an inhale, lift your head and shoulders up, elbows angle in. Holding the breath, lift your tailbone up. Exhale, elbows towards the ceiling. Squeeze the legs towards each other or into that block. And then inhale, lower the tailbone down, lower the top of the shoulders down. One more time in this shape. Holding the breath, lift your tailbone, squeezing the legs towards each other. Inhaling, lifting your elbows up. You should be feeling some sensation in your abdominals. And then lower your feet to the ground, lower your head, and take a pause here. Remove your block. Hug your knees into your chest. So she is a woman from, I think she originated from Colorado, but around that area of the United States. And she experienced a lot of trauma in her life. And most of her yoga that she designed, she created her own style of yoga, which is called Forrest yoga, is based on that. But these abdominals are very, very powerful. The most powerful I've ever done. So that's why I'm sharing them with you. Okay, we're going to do one more similar type of abdominals. Just get your hands behind the head again, interlace them, angle the elbows in. The torso, the top part of your body is the same. The only difference here, feet stay flat.
Inhale, head and shoulders up. We're going to do elbow to knee. Holding the breath, lift your tailbone. Same thing, nothing different here. The only difference is now lift your left leg up to a 90-degree angle. Keep your knee and hip in line. And then twist your elbows towards that left knee, but not to the knee. And lift your elbows up. I don't want you to bring elbow to knee, but it's towards. And then inhale, lower your left foot down and lower your tailbone down. Keep to the upper part of your back. Holding the breath, tailbone lifts up. Exhaling. So this is a little bit strange. Pick your right knee up and then twist your elbows towards that right knee. Elbows lift up to the sky and then inhale, lower down. And we will hug the knees into the chest. That's enough for now. And then take a few breaths in and take a few breaths out. Now from here, let's open up the legs wide, bend the knees and bring your arms inside your knees as if we're going into the crow. If you've never done a crow, you won't know what I'm talking about. But you're in this kind of happy baby shape. Your feet are flexed as if I was to flip you over, you'd be in the exact shape of a crow. Press your knees into your upper arms or your thighs into your upper arms and your arms into your thighs and push your hands up, flex your feet. Actually, they should come together. Apologies for that. Bring the feet together, because that's where they'll be. And then lift up. Lift your head and shoulders off the ground. That's the shape. Feet together, and now you can actually feel the work of your upper back, your tummy muscles, your arms, and then take an inhale, and just exhale, hug your knees into your chest, and then cross your ankles, roll all the way up. Let's extend the legs. Let's stretch them out for a moment. Fold over. And we're going to start to move into our flow, which will incorporate a lot of these shapes that I'm talking about. Let's swing our legs around. Let's come onto our hands and knees. Let's press back for a moment in our child's pose, knees wide, big toes touching, and stretch the arms this time forward. Let's take just one deep breath here, inhaling. And then as you exhale, lift up into your tabletop. Knees are underneath your heels, wrists underneath your shoulders. And I want you to take a breath in, and as you breathe out, push up into your cat stretch. This will help you to also get a sense of what this feels like to be in the crow. Upper back is rounding, doming. It's lower, it's much higher than your lower back. And then let's inhale, release our chest and our back by floating into our cow. And let's do that again. Exhaling, lifting up through the middle to upper back, drop your head. Now in the crow, you'll be looking forward, but I want you to look back for this one. Belly pulls in and up, and then return back into your cow pose, releasing and opening. Sit back to your heels for just a moment. Circle the wrists. You'll feel a lot of strength, or you're building up this strength in your arms and your back. It's really quite a powerful pose. Exhaling, let's go into our downward dogs. And if you need to, if that doesn't work for you, feel free to stay in your extended child's pose. Child's pose with your toes curled under. If you're in your downward dog, I want you to stretch out here and do a few little bends and straightens. Inhaling and exhaling. Breathing in and out. Now from here, either on your hands or knees or in your downward dog, I want you to simply bend your right knee and bring that right knee in towards your nose. and bring the heel of that right foot towards your right bottom cheek. So this is an unusual shape, I know. You can come onto your left toes or keep the left foot flat. And keep squeezing that right heel as close into your right bottom cheek as possible. You'll feel this in your arms. Take an inhale and exhale, lower your right foot down. Lots of strength. And then let's do the left side. Bend your left knee. You can do this on your hands and knees as well if this is beginning to cause discomfort in your wrists. Bring your left heel, your knee in towards your forehead, and then that left heel is close to your left bottom cheek as you can. As if you're lying on your back and you're hugging that knee into your chest. That's what we want to do. And then come onto your right toes or keep your right foot flat if you need to, and then lower your left foot down. Let's take a breath in, and as you breathe out, let's walk our way to the front of the mat. Once you're at the front of the mat, let's hang here for a moment, opposite hand, opposite elbow. Stretching through those arms, stretching through the back, shaking your head no, and shaking your head yes. Whew. Every time you exhale, let it go. Let go of the tension that you've just accumulated in your body from doing that. Then take an inhale and exhale, lower the hands to the ground. Inhaling halfway, either fingertips on the ground or hands on the shins. And then exhaling, forward fold. This time take an inhale, press root down, and then rise up, but roll up one vertebra at a time. Arms are dangling, thinking about doming your back, doming. And then once you lift up, once the head is the final thing to lift up, squeeze your shoulder blades, reach your arms back, palms facing one another, open up your chest. A very gentle back bend, which we all need at this point, right? And then interlace the hands, slide your hands down your bottom, squeeze your shoulder blades together, lift your arms off your back, and then exhaling, forward fold. If for some reason you cannot interlace your hands comfortably, then you can take a strap and hold on to that, or a belt. Drop your head into a forward bend, arms up above you as best as you can without forcing it. Not all of us can lift them up because of constrictions in their shoulders. That's fine. And then maybe roll the shoulders from side to side, loosening up those shoulders. The hands are flowing from side to side. Take an inhale and release the hands to your back, then release the arms to the ground. Take an inhale, let's lift up halfway. Let's exhale, step back, downward dog, into your downward dog. Take a pause, but breathe in and breathe out. And then inhaling, if you'd like to follow me, or stay on your downward dog or child's pose, come into your plank, holding that plank. Taking the knees can be placed down if you like, tailbone lengthens downward, crown of the head reaches forward. Squeeze your elbows in towards each other, take a breath in, and as you breathe out, hinge forward, so you're moving forward, not lifting up, and then lower yourself down onto your stomachs, inhaling into your cobras, sliding the hands forward, elbows reach, squeeze in towards each other, lift your heart. Take a breath in and take a breath out. And then lower yourself down. Let's slide your hands next to your chest. Before you even come up, pull the belly in towards the spine. Hollow out that belly, take a breath in, and then push up into your plank. And then exhale, downward dog. Taking a breath in and taking a breath out. Let's walk your feet to the front of the mat or leap forward if you're leapers. Forward fold. Inhaling halfway, pressing into your shins, exhaling, forward fold, and let's inhale, sweep your arms up to the sky, stretch through those arms, come into that mini back bend. That should feel nice with the arms above your head now, and then exhale, hands to heart, float forward, forward fold. Just a few little sun salutations to warm up your body. Inhaling, pressing through those shins, and then exhaling, stepping back, downward dog. And then coming to your knees. sitting on your heels just for a moment, sitting up nice and tall. Once you sit up and you're nice and tall, take your shoulders, lift them towards your ears and roll them back. And then inhale up and roll them back. And then take your hands on your knees. You can open up the knees a little bit wider, big toes touching. See if you can get your hands on the kneecaps themselves or just above. And I want you to round through the spine. Draw the chin towards your chest. This should feel nice. Inhaling, opening up your heart, and then exhaling, rounding. Little cats and cows. If this doesn't feel good on your knees, then feel free to come on to your, either up, off the heels, or cross-legged. And then let's inhale back into a neutral spine, either sitting on your heels or coming off your heels. We're going to reach your arms forward. I'll come actually off the heels. Reach your arms forward. I'm going to spin around so you can see what I'm doing. Take your right arm, cross it under your left at the elbow, and twist. Either hands on your shoulders, back of the hands together, or palms together. These are called eagle arms. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, elbows in towards your pelvis, and then inhale, lift back up just to neutral. So neutral means elbows in line with your shoulders. Then exhale, elbows in towards your pelvis, and then inhale, come up to neutral. And then untwist the arms, open the arms out to the sides. Create these cactus arms, and then lean back, opening up your chest. And then just soften them down and shake them out. Whew. That never gets that easy, does it? But it feels good on your, it's great for your opening up the back of your shoulders. Now left arm underneath your right at the elbow, you're making an X and then twisting. Taking an inhale and exhaling, elbows in towards your pelvis. Feeling that shape of this crow. You will understand in a moment, and then stay neutral, sorry. Exhaling, rounding, creating that dome shape with your upper back. And then inhaling, coming back up to neutral. And then open the arms out to the sides, and then bend the elbows into that cactus shape or goalpost shape, and lean back, opening up the chest. And then releasing the shoulders down. And just take a pause here just for a moment. Rub the arms as we move into our crow. So we're all ready. Our body's ready. Our back is ready. It means that even if you're not feeling comfortable yet, it doesn't matter. You've done everything to prepare. And if that's as far as you've gotten, that's perfectly fine. I'm putting a pillow in front of me. The reason why I'm not pillow, blanket, in case if you fall forward, you have that there. But it's more for security than anything. So now what we're going to do is feel free to grab something and just put it in front of you. Bring the feet together. I'll show you what it looks like from this side. So feet together, knees open, arms in between the legs, just as if you're going to leapfrog. Hands are flat. Remember how you were laying when you're on your back? Kind of like what they call a dead bug, or a bug that's, a beetle that has fallen on their back. Squeeze the legs into the forearms. First take your elbows out. Your fingertips are forward. Your elbows, bend them slightly. So I'll show you again from this angle. Yeah, and then squeeze the legs into your upper arms. You're creating a little shelf on your upper arms. Okay, this is just playing. We're not going to actually come up yet. We're just going to practice. Take a breath in. Squeeze the legs into the upper arms. Lean forward, come onto your toes. That's as far as you're going. All preparation. Looking forward and then lowering yourself down. Coming back into that squat. Let yourself collapse here a little bit. Stretch, giving your back, releasing your back for a moment. And then coming back up, squeezing the legs. Take a breath in. And exhale, lift up. Now you can lift one toe at a time. If you can do the double, do it now. Otherwise, those who are new to this, just practice coming up and going forward. And the other part of this, you can use your exhalation to lean forward, look forward. You can pick one foot up and then lower that and come back down. Then you can do the other one and then come back down. So you're not lifting up, you're actually, your trajectory is forward. So now I'll show you what it looks like. Take a breath in. Squeeze the legs into the arms. Exhale. Looking forward. Pick your right foot up, left foot up, and then hold. And then lower down. Okay. Let's come on to our bottoms. Stretch out those legs in front of you. Whew. It gets your heart rate up. Even if you weren't able to get up, you couldn't get your feet up. It's not the problem. It's a whole experience of working towards something. Folding over your legs. Take a breath in and out. This should feel nice for the backs of the legs and the shoulders. And then taking an inhale, lift up nice and tall. Slide your bottom to your heels and lower yourself onto your backs. Once on your back, hug your knees into your chest. Let your arms open up to the sides into your spinal twist. If you ever want to do something, a different type of a stretch before you move into your Shavasana, feel free to do so. But this is actually the ideal stretch, a spinal twist before you settle down. And you can turn your gaze to the right and then pick your knees back up. Either knees to nose or keep your head on the ground. And then reopen your arms out to the sides, drop your knees to the right, and then turn your gaze to the left. So many of these classes that I'm teaching all have a peak pose, and I take you through all the preparation to get to that peak pose, which is loads of fun. It's kind of like opening up a present. What's the peak pose like, you know? And then pick your knees back up, one last hug, and then extend your left leg to the left corner of the mat, right to the right. And this is your final resting pose, Shavasana. Closing your eyes, settling down, letting your whole body melt into the mat. Let it all go, everything. Feeling into how the body experienced this class. I feel lots of muscles having been worked. I feel tingling and being a little bit tired. It's good. You know you've worked. And as you continue there, continue on, 2 to 5 minutes in Shavasana, recommended. Because it's a 30-minute class, I help you get there, and then you're the one that has to decide to stay there. So I seal the practice, and this is the crow. The crow. Working our way towards these peak poses, but not necessarily getting there. Just giving it your best shot. That's all it is. And that's the beauty of it is. It's just trying, having some fun. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you for being with me. Namaste, everyone. This is Rebecca Jane from Yoga with Rebecca Jane. And subscribe. You just touch the button on the right-hand side. If you would like to be notified of my classes that I
record on a regular basis. Comment and thumbs up. That would be wonderful. Thank you so much. Namaste. See you soon.